fail to see the beauty of being free. Don't forget what you love the most. I just wanna keep you close, so we have to give it one more try.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new vlog. I'm Lee from Mortgage Freely. I talk about money and mum life on the internet, and this week we are coming to you from Bluestone. If you don't know, Bluestone is kind of a Centerparcs equivalent, but it's in like mid to South Wales. I think it's South Wales. So basically it's the Welsh version or Welsh alternative to Centerparcs. We went to Centerparcs last year for the first time, and I did a video about it. I will link it in the description box so you can go back and watch that if you like. Overall we enjoyed it, but I definitely had a few observations. And this year I really wanted to prioritise experiences. So we decided to book another little staycation, and this time we've come to Bluestone. When we went to Centerparcs last year, my daughter was in school, but she wasn't statutory school age. So she was in school, but they're only compulsory school age the term after they turn 5. Oh, sorry, there's a very loud seagull. This always happens to me. I'm not even at home and I'm being interrupted by animals. What was I saying? They're only compulsory school age the term after they turn 5. So she wasn't compulsory school age, so we couldn't be fined. So we did a Monday to Thursday break at Centerparcs, out of term. I think it was in March, because I didn't realise that there were like seasonal prices, so it was cheaper to go in March. This year things are a little bit different, because my daughter is compulsory school age. The school fine system in the UK has also changed, which sucks. I am not supportive of it, that's just my personal opinion. I know it's complicated. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But essentially here in the UK, if your child misses 10 sessions, so essentially it's 5 full days of school, within a 10-week period or within a term, you will be fined. And that was one thing. But now if you get 2 fines in 3 years, you can be taken to court and it's a whole big thing. Obviously I don't want that to happen and I wouldn't risk that. But there is no way I would be paying the school holiday prices for Centerparcs or Bluestone. They are insane. Like actually insane. I haven't looked up the Bluestone ones, but the Centerparcs ones are nuts. So we've come on a weekend in March. It's actually Mother's Day weekend, which is accidental but kind of cute. And it's meant that my daughter has missed school on Friday and Monday. Now I actually would have sent her into school for half a day on Friday so she didn't miss as much school. However, after we booked this trip, the school informed us that they were going on a school trip to the safari park. So I couldn't send her in for half a day because her class wouldn't be there. So I took her to the safari park in half term because I didn't want her to miss out on that. And we've taken her out of school on Friday and Monday. That means that she has missed 4 sessions of school and therefore we can't be fined. Anyway, moving on, we're at Bluestone. And part of the deciding factor that brought us to Bluestone is that it was actually cheaper than Centerparcs. And that is one of the main things that made me interested in Bluestone, is people talk about the fact that it is cheaper than Centerparcs, and it was. I think it was something like over £100 cheaper for this same break here than it would have been at Centerparcs. So I've just got a message off my husband who tells me that this break, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we leave on Monday, but you can use the facilities all day Friday, all day Monday. It cost us £384.78. We did use a blue light discount, so if you're eligible for that, definitely do that. I think it was around the £400 mark without that, and quite a lot cheaper than the equivalent break at Centerparcs. So that is why we've come to test it out. It's Saturday morning now. We actually arrived yesterday, which was Friday. We got here about 5 p.m. What I will say about Bluestone is one of the larger drawbacks of Bluestone is it is so much further to travel, like so much further to travel. We live in Cheshire, we are right on the Welsh border, so we can be in North Wales in under 30 minutes, no issue whatsoever. Bluestone on the other hand is in like South Wales, so the drive time for a clear run is about 4 hours. If you contrast that to Centerparcs, we went to Wimfell Forest, which is around the Lake District area. That was a 2-hour drive time. I was quite nervous about being in the car with my kids for 4 hours. I know some people can do long distance car journeys with their kids from an early age. My kids are not those kids. But actually, they were great. We did have to stop the car less than half an hour after we set off for an emergency nappy change, but other than that, it went quite well. But we were in the car for about 5 hours, which is a long time. I think you can check in on site from 4:30. What I will say is the check-in process here and the queues were nothing like the ones at Centerparcs. I don't know if it's because we got here at like 5 o'clock and like the rush had stopped. I don't know. Basically, there were like 3 cars ahead of us. It took no time. It was not an issue whatsoever. So that was great. We checked into our lodge. We're in one of the Caldi lodges. It's got 2 bedrooms, kitchen, little patio area outside. I will show you around the lodge at some point. Just bear in mind that everyone's stuff is everywhere. And essentially we've got today and tomorrow to explore the site, figure out what's good, and then I can fill you in on what I think about Bluestone. I do have a few initial observations. One of the things about Bluestone, a lot of people told me that you can get these golf buggies and you can hire them. Now actually we were too late to hire one, and everybody seems to love these things. But people were saying you needed the golf buggies because it's all really spread out. I don't find this place spread out at all. I actually think it's really quick to get around this site. We're in the Knight's Rise area of the map, and to get back to the village was literally like minutes walk. So I feel like this so far is less spread out than Centerparcs. We have brought our little trolley, like our little holiday trolley. The kids both sit in it. It's probably not recommended, but we love it. We no longer have a pram. My son's only 2.5, but we don't have a pram anymore. My kids have never been pram kids. We've got the bikes. I haven't had a bike since my bike was stolen when I was 11. So everyone else has got their bikes. And whilst I'm sure driving a golf buggy is fun, I don't like the golf buggies. I didn't realise until I got here what it would be like. And you know when you go to Centerparcs, obviously you can bring your cars in to drop all your stuff off and you're going to take your cars back to the car park, so there are no cars on site. It's the same here, but people are driving these golf buggies around and it makes it a lot less peaceful. And also I feel a little bit less confident about the kids like riding their bikes on the roads outside here. I think there are bike paths, but at Centerparcs the kids can just ride their bikes around on the roads because there are no cars except for the odd maintenance vehicle. Here everyone's in a golf buggy, so I'm actually not a fan of that. We'll see how I feel about it at the end of the weekend, but that's my initial impression of that. So Bluestone is set in Bluestone National Park. It's lovely, it's sort of woodlandy. It definitely doesn't feel as foresty as Wimfell Forest Centerparcs. I can't put my finger on it, it just doesn't. It doesn't feel as quiet, it doesn't feel as peaceful, it doesn't feel as foresty. The one thing I'm going to be really interested to find out over the next couple of days is how the activities stack up to Centerparcs. When we went to Centerparcs, we did a few paid activities, like low cost ones, and then we mostly stuck to the free activities. We only ate one meal out. Here, I don't think we have any intention of doing any paid activities or eating out. We have brought all of our food with us. It would have probably been easier to move house than it is to come on a self-catering weekend away in the UK with all of the food that you need to eat. But I don't plan to eat any meals out, and I don't plan to do any paid activities. So I'm going to be interested to find out how the free activities stack up. I have a feeling there is more free stuff to do here than there is at Centerparcs. But I've come into it with the expectation that the pool is not going to be anywhere near as good as Centerparcs one. I think that's sort of an accepted fact. The kids are going to love it, and it might actually work out better because my son found the Centerparcs swimming pool so overwhelming, he just didn't want anything to do with it. But I'm not expecting that to be as good as Centerparcs. But I am expecting there to be more in terms of the other free activities. There's like a welcome party this morning. There's an end of stay party tomorrow because it's only a weekend, so it's super short. I'll be really interested to see how those free activities stack up. Obviously we've got the biking, and a lot of people have recommended sort of days out and places we can go. I believe there's quite a few nice beaches around here, which clearly there isn't at Wimfell Forest Centerparcs. But obviously we've paid to stay here, so we want to spend most of our time on site. Last night when we got here, I think there were a few bits and bobs going on in the village, which literally is like a little town in the middle of this national park. I don't think they've built it, I think it was already here, and you can actually stay in the houses in the little village. It's really cute. I bet it is gorgeous at Christmas. Like, it's so cute. The little activity play area was there. What I will say about the activity play area is if that's the only one, or if that's all of it, that will be disappointing, because the Centerparcs like outdoor play area was large. There was more than one of them, and it was really nice and sort of woody. You know, like everything was made out of wood. It was like wood chip ground, whereas this one's more like a nice play park that you get in a park near your house with like astroturf, and things are colourful. And if that's the only one, it's far too small for the amount of people here. So I'm really hoping there's either another one or there's like an indoor thing that would make up for it, because it's too small and a little bit disappointing in that sense. But the village it's in, stunning. And there's a coffee shop, which I definitely want to try out. The lodge itself is really nice. I love the layout of it more. You can sort of see behind me, the kitchen is like really open plan. There's a big sort of open plan space here. The kitchen is away from the bedrooms. In Centerparcs, the kitchen of the lodge we were in was right next to the kids' bedrooms, and obviously they were quite young, not the best sleepers. And we were like trying to be silent, like making the food. It was much smaller inside. And the outdoor space here is really cute, apart from the squirrels that are very domesticated. And honestly, I think one of them was trying to break in here to get my son's crumpet this morning. So I'd be a little bit concerned about sitting out there to actually try and eat, because I think the squirrels would get on the table and eat the food. But the outdoor space is much more usable than that at Centerparcs. The bedrooms themselves are pretty much the same. There's a high chair, there's a cot, there's a bed guard, which is great. There was some plastic cutlery, cups, plates, which was great because we actually forgot the kids' plates. We brought the knives and forks, but we forgot their plates. There's a nappy bin, again, brilliant. You get a little starter kit with a few dishwashing tablets. There's a toilet roll, there's some washing up liquid. I'd say the lodge is better stocked than that at Centerparcs. There's a decent knife block, which there wasn't at Centerparcs. There's stuff to actually cook on. Again, at Centerparcs, I don't think we had a baking sheet to put stuff on. So the kitchen's definitely better stocked. And don't get me wrong, the Centerparcs lodges weren't anything amazing. I don't know if we stayed in a newer style one or not. This one is a little bit dated. It could use a little bit of TLC. The toilet seat is a little bit you feel like you're gonna fall in the toilet. The toilet roll holder is basically twisting around, coming off the wall. The latch to the back door to get out here is a little bit well used, shall we say. But the main thing that's causing me some concern is we're in a semi-detached lodge, so there's us here, there's neighbours on this side. That was the case at Centerparcs, but I don't remember hearing my neighbours. And basically there's a door right here. In fact, that door there, there's a door there. I think that's an adjoining room type of door, so that if you wanted to have this whole thing, you could unlock it. But it means that we can hear the neighbours, they can probably hear us, which is causing me a bit of anxiety because obviously I've got a 2.5-year-old. He's making a lot of noise. He's been up since 5:45 this morning. He's been crying because he didn't like his banana. And when you just feel oh my gosh, these neighbours are going to hate us. I'm trying to get the kids to be quiet and I feel terrible, so I don't love that at all. Anyway, the plan for today, go to the welcome meeting. Definitely got to go swimming, that is non-negotiable. My daughter's already got a swimming costume on. She's had it on since 7 a.m. Do some bike riding, check out the facilities on site. And then tomorrow, if it's nice, we might go to the beach, I'm not sure. But I will take you with us. I'll keep you updated on what we spend while we're here. And I'll let you know what I think. Happy Saturday!
We can tell one from the other. No one can tell you what they're running from. No one knows anymore. What's it for? What's it for? There's so much more than we've been told, way beyond what we can hold. So keep your eyes open for the things that really matter. Oh, we have to give it one more try, now that the idiots are taking over. They're caught up in the race of wanting more, and we can tell.
It's Sunday morning, and do I need to eat my words? Firstly, excuse my state. I've decided I'm not straightening my hair whilst we're away. What's the point? I feel like everything I said yesterday morning, I kind of need to backtrack on. So when I spoke to you yesterday, we hadn't been and explored the facilities. And my first impression was that it might not be quite as good as Centerparcs. However, yesterday we went and explored the Hive, the Severn Dome and the Blue Lagoon. And holy moly, this place is so much better for free kids activities than Centerparcs. Don't get me wrong, there are still quite a few things that you can book and pay for here, especially for older kids. Like the sort of aerial zip wirey thing, the skywalk, climbing with harnesses. There's a few shows that have an additional cost. You can pay to have breakfast with a fairy. There's car racing. There is a bunch of stuff you can pay for. Like with anything, this place is as expensive as you want to make it. However, whereas at Centerparcs I felt like the majority of things were paid for activities, and you were kind of scrounging around to find the things that were free, which was mostly soft plays in pubs, which we didn't go in because I would have felt obligated to buy food or drink, and swimming. And then there was a free disco in the evening at Centerparcs. But even then they got us for an £8 glow wand thing. Here there is loads for the kids to do for free. I would say it is perfect for kids the age minor. So I have a 2.5-year-old and a 6-year-old. She's almost 6. She's basically 6. And it is perfect for their age group. So first you've got the Hive, which is basically like an indoor activity centre. There are a few paid things in there, like there's a little climbing wall. I'm pretty sure you pay for that. And you can also go off to like other areas like Glow Zone Bowling and other things that are paid for. However, they're not like right in your kid's face where they're walking past them going, I want to do that, I want to do that. Whereas at Centerparcs, I feel like it's all on display for the kids to be like, I want to do that. And then you feel like you have to say no to your kids all the time, which I hate. So in the Hive, you actually don't see any of those paid for things. I mean, you do have to enter through a toy shop. However, my mum's given us £20 per child and it wasn't ridiculously overpriced. So be prepared for that. But you can just go straight into the Hive. There are loads of indoor climbing frames for the kids, slides. There's like a little football pitch. There's a bouncy castle, like a huge bouncy castle, and it's all free. So that's amazing. Then do you remember when I was saying that the little outside play park is quite small? Well, I didn't realise that the Seven Dome is actually open air. So it's covered, which is great obviously for the weather, but it's open-sided. So technically it's outside. It's huge. The Seven Dome has a few more things going on in there that are paid for that the kids can see, but there's also plenty of things in there for free for the kids to do. So free activities in there. Yesterday we went to like the welcome event. So there's a little bit of dancing, sort of a little bit of a show. It was obviously informational, like when you go on holiday abroad and you sit down and the rep talks to you about all the trips. They tried to make it fun by making it bingo, but my daughter realised that the prize was to go on that aerial thing, which she didn't want to do, so she got quickly bored of that, and we left halfway through. But that was in like a theatre, and today at 1:30 there's a free kids hour, so I think it's going to be like singing and dancing in there, so that's free. There's a sand play area, there's a water play area, and there's a little play park which actually has a baby swing. The only thing is there's only one baby swing I've seen so far, and my son's too small to go on like a grown-up swing. So it could definitely do with more baby swings. But there are basically 3 different zones the kids can play in for free. There's seating for the adults. There are little sort of food vendor stands around. Plenty of people were watching the kids play with a beer because there's a bar in there. So there's loads to do for free in there, and obviously it doesn't matter if it rains because it's covered, but it's still open-sided, so it's kind of still outside. We also went swimming. Now, swimming is the one thing that I 100% expected to not be as good as Centerparcs, and it's basically because the internet told me it wasn't as good. However, we obviously went to Centerparcs, we went to Wimfell Forest. I don't know if they're all the same. The swimming pool is huge, but it is very overwhelming. There's no number control. You literally walk in. I was expecting to walk in and have to speak to someone. You walk in and then you basically just go into the changing room. It's very loud. It's very chaotic. Then you go out into the pool, which is massive. Obviously, there's no number control, so there's a lot of people there. And my son was only 1.5 when we went to Centerparcs, and I think the changing room, for a start, overwhelmed him, and he just hated swimming. He didn't want to get in the pool. It was such a struggle. Obviously he was younger, but I really think it just completely overwhelmed him. So the general consensus had been that the swimming is not as good. I thought it was better than Centerparcs Wimfell Forest. It's smaller, but the numbers are controlled, so when you go in they give you like a coloured wristband, and basically they call wristbands after 2 hours, so after 2 hours your wristband can go out, unless it's quiet, in which case they won't bother, but your wristband needs to go out after 2 hours, so you get a 2-hour slot, and therefore there are not as many people in there at one time, but it's warmer, it's calmer, it's less busy, the toddler bit is great. My son was having so much fun playing with these little dive sticks that we brought with us that I bought off Vinted. There's a wave pool. It's basically got everything you need for the kids to have a good time in the pool, but without being very stressful and overwhelming. So we loved it and thought it was way better than the Centerparcs one. In terms of tips though, you do need a trolley coin or £1 to operate the locker. So we ended up having to buy a trolley coin because if you know me and my ongoing saga with trolley coins, I buy them and lose them immediately. In fact, I don't know where the trolley coin is that we bought yesterday. But yeah, bring a trolley coin or a £1 coin for those lockers. Swimming's only open till 5, which I feel like is not as late as Centerparcs. The Seven Dome though is open till 8 p.m. And then I think there's things going on in the village in the evening, like live music at the pub or something. But our kids need the routine, so they tend to be in bed. There is an end of stay party this evening, 7 till 8. I'm not sure if the kids will make it for that. We'll see. If they do, we might take them over there. I do also need to backtrack a little bit on the golf buggy thing. I still don't love it. And as my husband said yesterday, it very much discourages people from being on their bikes. There's not that many people riding the bikes around here, whereas at Centerparcs, everyone's on the bikes. because they're all in golf buggies. Distance-wise is not an issue. It is not that far to walk to things. I think we're about as far away from the activities as we could be. However, it's hilly. I don't think Centerparcs is anywhere near as hilly. Centerparcs is probably further to walk, but it's not as hilly. So if you've got young kids that aren't in a pram, they're not going to make it, basically. They're not going to make it up them hills on their own. You're going to be carrying them. So I can see why so many people recommended to get a golf buggy. I couldn't get a golf buggy. I probably would have done originally before we got here, but they were all sold out. And also, I really just didn't want to spend any extra money. This is like a bonus little staycation for us. And I just didn't want to have to spend extra money on top of the hundreds of pounds that we're already paying to stay here. Just kind of wanted it to be budget friendly as much as it can be. I'm not sure how much the golf buggies are. If I can figure it out, I'll pop it on the screen. I've also seen there are some people here celebrating like their 70th birthday and things like that. So disabilities, accessibility wise, I guess I understand the whole golf buggy thing now. I still think it takes away from the like peaceful foresty getaway feel though. I stand by that one. I've got a squirrel visitor out here at the moment. In terms of spending yesterday, my mum gave the kids £20 each to buy like stuff from the shop. I think my daughter spent £4.50, my son spent £3.50. We had to go and buy some Sudocrem because my son's got nappy rash from the shop. I was surprised they had it, but they do, so that was great. I don't know how much that cost. I'll pop it on the screen once I've asked my husband. We had to buy the trolley coin, and we did get waffles. They were £17 something. They were really good. We got waffles in the Serendome because my son fell asleep after swimming. He was so tired. And he literally fell asleep in my arms. It was a slight nightmare because I had to carry him from the swimming to the Serendome so I could sit down while my daughter played. Obviously, it was torrential rain at that point. We had no socks on. It was a classic parenting moment. So we had waffles because I saw a lady eating them in the morning and I thought, she's got the right idea. Still cheaper than the visit to the pancake house that we had at Centerparcs. So on reflection, right now I'm basically of a mindset that whilst I personally as an adult like the sort of peaceful, foresty, no buggies, tranquil vibe of Centerparcs, Bluestone is definitely much more family friendly and budget friendly in terms of all the free activities for kids the age that mine are. I just don't think Centerparcs can sort of hold a candle to it, to be honest. So that's where I'm at with it today. We were thinking about going to the beach because my daughter did want to go to the beach. It's sunny. I don't think it's going to be raining today, but it's not that warm for the beach because it's always windy at the beach. So I think she wants to hang out here. I think she's hoping to go back swimming when the pirates are in the pool. So at 3 to 4 o'clock today on Sunday, there are going to be pirates in the swimming pool. So I think she wants to go back then. So I'm not sure what time we'll go back there to make sure that we're in the pool for that because I would imagine that's popular. And yeah, we're just hanging out on site. So I'll catch up with you later and let you know my final thoughts on Bluestone because it's our last full day today. It's such a short visit. It's so nice to do something different.
Taking over. They're caught up in the race of wanting more, and we can tell one from the other. No one can tell you what they're running from. No one knows anymore. What's it for? What's it for? Oh no. One more time before it's over. They're caught up in the race of wanting more, and we can tell one from the other. No one can tell you what they're running from. No one knows anymore. What's it for? What's it for?
It's a few days later and we're back home. I just wanted to catch up with you to recap the last couple of days of our trip, update you on what we spent and let you know just generally what we thought about Bluestone. The last time I spoke to you was Sunday morning and you'll have seen the little montage of what we did on Sunday. Essentially, we hung out at the accommodation. We decided not to go out, not to go to the beach. Because the on-site facilities are so good, we really wanted to make use of them, and the main thing the kids wanted to do was go swimming. It was Mother's Day on Sunday, so the kids insisted on making me breakfast in bed. My son then immediately asked to eat half of my breakfast. So I had half my breakfast. Then we were up and out early, we went over to the village, we had a little explore of like, I don't know, is it called like the tree houses, the furry tree housed area? At the village, I did find 2 more baby swings at the back of that area, and a little slide. So if you've got young ones, there are a couple of little baby swings at the back of the tree houses. The kids found a little stream, so they were chucking rocks in there, which is basically my son's favourite thing to do in life. And then we went to the coffee shop, because this mama loves nothing more than a coffee shop, and it was Mother's Day. So we went to the coffee shop. It was actually really lovely in there. It's only small for seating inside. We had coffees, the kids had cake and like a kiddie milkshake. But they also do food in there and it looks really good. So that cost us £17.50, which I don't feel like is too bad. And it was really nice in there, proper coffee shop music, coffee shop vibes. So we did that. Then I think we went over to the Seven Dome. We took the kids' buckets and spades and they had the time of their lives, like just tipping the water, filling the buckets up. Especially my son, I mean, that is a toddler's dream right there. So we spent a good hour there. Then we went back to the lodge, had lunch, and headed to swimming for the time when the pirates were going to be in the pool. I'll be honest with you, the pirates were somewhat underwhelming. I mean, there was a bit of like gameplay and they were throwing balls in the pool, but it was not quite what I was expecting if I'm being honest. But we did love the pool in general again. We didn't go to the free kids hour, which was at lunchtime because we wanted to go swimming at that point. And after swimming, we just headed back to the lodge, had our dinner, had a drink on the like patio area, outside area. The kids were so tired, there was no way we were going to be making it all the way back up that hill to the end of stay party. When my son's out of this terrible nap transition phase that he's in, maybe we would make it to something outside the house after 7 p.m, but not this year. I think we also went in the Hive as well, just for a little play after swimming, to bridge the gap between swimming and dinner. And the kids spent a little bit more of the money from my mum in the gift shop. And then on Monday, checkout is 10 a.m. We were up and ready pretty early, to be honest. So we packed up the car, dropped the car off at the car park, and the kids wanted to go in the Hive. I thought they were going to want to go swimming again, but they wanted to go in the Hive. So we went and played in the Hive for a little bit, and then we headed home. Oh, we did also go to the coffee shop on Monday morning, which we probably didn't really need to do. It was probably a bit of an unnecessary spend, that one. In terms of spending, I let the kids spend their full £20 budget each from my mum, so they spent that. We had waffles, which were around £17, 2 coffee shop visits around £16, £17 each. And we also had to buy emergency Sudocrem and a trolley coin. So we really didn't spend that much money, and we didn't have to spend as much money as we did. You could absolutely come to Bluestone with kids the age that my kids are, bring all your food with you, and not spend another penny. Bring your coffee in a mug to the Seven Dome, bring a packed lunch, no need to spend a penny, honestly. Which is great, because I don't feel like that was the case at Centerparcs. As much as we tried to keep costs down, I just don't think there was enough to do there to keep the kids entertained all day on site. So overall, in terms of a recap of Bluestone versus Centerparcs, I will say as an adult, just thinking about myself, I prefer the feel of Centerparcs, just that foresty, more tranquil feel. It definitely feels more secluded, it definitely feels more peaceful, and it definitely feels more foresty. But as a mum of 2, 5 and under, Bluestone wins hands down. There's just so much more free stuff for the kids to do on site. You can keep the kids busy all day, like I said, without even needing to spend a penny. The swimming's less overwhelming, the Hive and the Seven Dome are great, there are a few bits and bobs of other free stuff going on, all the paid activities are not right in your face. And another thing I really like about Bluestone is Centerparcs is very commercialised, so there's a Starbucks, there's various different chain restaurants. There's none of that at Bluestone. There's not one branded thing. The coffee shop is a coffee shop. It's not a Starbucks, it's not a Costa, it's not a Cafe Nero, it's a coffee shop. There's only 2 restaurants, neither of them are branded, or if they are branded, it's not obvious. We didn't go inside them. It's not obvious from the outside that they're branded restaurants, if they are. And I definitely like that lack of commercialism. Bluestone didn't feel as money hungry as Centerparcs, whereas Centerparcs just felt like you were constantly surrounded with opportunities to spend on top of the cost that you've already paid to stay there. So whilst I like the Centerparcs vibes more, as an adult, as a budgeting mum of 2, Bluestone 100%, if we didn't have to travel 4 hours, because I will say that is a huge drawback. Just in the location that we live in, it's just so far. It took us 5 or 6 hours to get back, and we didn't even hit bad traffic. There are about 1,000 random roadworks that weren't actually achieving anything. It's just such a long journey. If we were 2 hours away from Bluestone, as we are with Windfell Forest, we would definitely go back to Bluestone. As it stands, I think the travel time might just be a little bit too much of a barrier for us. But if you are looking for a budget-conscious break, as a family with younger children, and you can afford the initial outlay to go to Bluestone, I would say it's 100% worth it. Yes, your toilet roll holder might be spinning around and your toilet seat might be a bit janky, but your kids are going to be happy and entertained all day. And that's the key. So I hope this was helpful. I will drop the Centerparcs vlog I did previously in the description box, so you can go and watch that if you want to, sort of get my thoughts on Centerparcs when I was actually there. If you've got any questions about Bluestone, drop them in the comments and I will answer them. I'll be doing some short form content on our trip. If I can put it on shorts, I will. Otherwise, it'll be on my other social media, which again, all the details are in the description box. Have you been to Bluestone? What do you think? Are you a Centerparcs fan? Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments. Let me know if you've enjoyed this video, but whatever you do drop me a comment. You have no idea how much dropping a comment on a video like this can help a little channel like mine. I'm Lee from Mortgage Free Lee. I talk about money and mum life on the internet. We do budget with me's, we go to Aldi, we sort my life out, and basically just chat all things money and mum life. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, click the subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one.